Hey, it's Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's May 21st. This will be our chart lesson for today. And as you can see, we had a nice bullish day here. We started off in a range like we have just about every morning, but we broke out and trended higher. And we didn't quite break through that double top. We didn't quite trade that high. We were really close, but we didn't quite get there. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. We continue to be up here in the overbought territory, although we have relieved some of that by trading sideways here. So we'll see if we push higher or continue sideways or maybe even turn down. So uh, it just takes a little longer to work through on these daily charts because one bar is a full day. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But anyway, a bullish close today and a higher close today than we've traded higher, but this is the highest close we've had in a while. So maybe all-time high close actually. So not all, yeah, maybe all-time because I think we've been making all-time highs here. Um, you might check me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that's an all-time high. Anyway, let's flip over to our 2000 tick chart. Take a look at what that looks like, and we'll go through the trades. There's not a lot of trades today, again, but we'll take a look at that and go through what we have. Okay, here's a look at our 2000 tick chart. You can see that we had a leg up and then a two-legged correction and then another leg up, and we actually overdid that leg just a tad there. So two legs up to a new high today. Notice the measured move on the range. We actually pushed through that a little bit as well. Generally, when you get a measured move by the two legs and they're equal to the width of the range as well, so you can see those are almost the same targets. That's usually a pretty good sign, when you get more than one confirmation that you're in the right ballpark. You'd probably expect prices are going to push on up there. So, but there it is, and you can see there's some dry spells in here, but there's some trades all through the day. You just had to be patient. This type trading, you really have to be patient. You can see very low volume in the overnight, hardly any. It did pick up a little in the day today, it looks like, but very little overnight volume at all. I would say it looks like maybe there's a little more volume today than there has been previously. Um, but let's zoom in here and we'll go through the trades and we'll wrap this day up. And just a reminder that it's going to be a short week. Tomorrow will be my last chart lesson this week. I'm going to be taking off Thursday and Friday. And of course, Monday's Memorial Day, so there'll be a holiday, no trading that day. So we won't be back till next Tuesday. So just make note of that. So if you're looking for the chart lesson tomorrow, you understand, or Thursday, you'll understand why there's not one there. And that'll also explain why there's no mid-morning chart on Thursday or Friday. So anyway, 7 o'clock came just as we're coming back up and topping out here, and this is just real choppy. I marked this one because it's a triple test. It's a little, I went back and forth about whether or not to take this trade, but it's also a first entry, second entry, and these are there is some resistance up here, and when we try to go higher 3 times, we're probably going to at least go back down and test these lows, and it could go further, which it does. So I like that trade. Moves down here and we get a triple test and establish a bottom. I didn't like going long here as much because we got all that congestion across there. It's a really nice bar. It closes right at the EMA just like that last one. The odds are if it breaks above, it'll probably pull back, but we're probably going to go higher because that's after 3 tries, we can't go lower. It's really more than 3 tries. 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to go lower that failed. So there's a good chance we're going higher right there. So I did mark it green. I liked it, but at the same time, there's a lot of congestion there, and it could have failed. It could have come back and taken your stop out and then gone higher, because sometimes they'll do that. So this one's a little bit risky. And of course, we just move up and then we start chopping around here. But then you get another triple test here with a relatively decent bar, 4 ticks, and there's plenty of room, so I like that one. You can see how it just got stuck there until it broke higher, and we actually and it looks like we are creeping up a trend line here, and because we're creeping up that trend line, there's a good chance we're going to break out, but it could break out and fail. And you see it tries to here, but you try to go lower once, twice, 3 times, and it does bounce. You do get a two-legged pullback right to that trend line and EMA. It's not a perfect bar, so I marked it green, but honestly, I like this trade, and I think you're fine taking it. But I did mark it green because the signal bar is not perfect, but it's only 4, I think it's 4 ticks. Yeah, it's only 4 ticks. So there's a pretty nice entry there. I think you have to take that trade. Okay, I had a slight interruption, but yeah, this second entry, that signal bar is really neutral, but with it only being 4 ticks and it being 2 legs back and right at the EMA and that trend line, I mean, you just about have to, there's plenty of room to get out for this high, so you have to take that trade. I liked it. I went ahead and marked it green because of the signal bar, but I'll be honest with you, in real time, I like that trade. If you took it, it was probably a smart trade. We ran up here, reversed. You got to. This is really mostly sideways, but it's still working down. You can see that trend line break, new low, and it takes off again here. But there's no setup here. It's tempting to short this, but you hadn't had a break of this trend line yet. At least I didn't see one. And now that it's, you still end up getting what looks like a retest over here. So it depends on how you drew this. It's possible that it could be, this could be a little steeper. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, Lord. For some reason my mouse is acting up. I can't get my mouse to work properly here. It could be a little steeper and you got a break here and a new high. In fact, the more I'm looking at it, the more that's likely that it looks just like that right there. So this would be a little bit lower here. Every time my computer does an update, my mouse starts going haywire, so I'm going to have to probably restart this thing. But I'm not going to try. I'm going to try to get through this chart lesson because I don't want to restart it now. But anyway, you could have seen it either way. I mean, even though you do have a break there, it's not a very convincing one, so that's probably why it played out like it did. It's real tempting to take that. But I'd say just skip it. I mean, there is room back. It breaks higher and fails and turns down. I don't think you want to trade it on the engulfing bar for sure. Maybe you take that trade back to the EMA and the trend line. I just think it's risky because this is a pretty good trend working up here. But it does. This one runs down. You get a break outside of close, and you do get a triple test with a nice signal bar. I like that one. I really thought it would take off there, but the key is, do you have room back to this swing up here? And then also you want to be careful right here because it could turn back down, which it does. Had this closed back inside the range, I'd say maybe take that. I mean, you could still argue for that to be green, low or high, because we do have a close outside the new high on this little move up already. So you could easily get a measured leg, and it might turn all the way back down and go back down to the other side again. So I should at least probably make that one green. And then we're just kind of chopping down, but I don't see any setups I like here. You do get a break and a couple of legs down, then you reverse, and no chance to get long here. And then you get a close outside, a couple of moves up. If you had a decent signal bar, you could go short there, but you get a lower high here. I like taking that one. And it ends up just moving on down, but I don't see anything you can take here. This is tempting here, but we've gotten way, I mean, it's too far for a high or low in my opinion. Um, and it's just a first entry. There's not much room back to that swing right high right there. It does confirm that trend line to the upside though, but I still think you're pretty much better off to wait. And then a few minutes later, you get a second entry long right here on this move. Now you're working down, but this is an uptrend, so you can see that it closes outside here, but it's two legs back to the EMA, and it's such a nice signal bar, and we are in an uptrend, so you would expect this to try to move back up and test the high and maybe make that measured move as well. So you may not even been able to get in this. You would have had to try to drop a limit order in there, and whether or not it would have got filled, come back and filled you, it's hard to say. That turns out to be a really great move. I went ahead and marked it, but it could be iffy if you were able to get in that trade because it took off really fast. And of course that took us into 230. So again, it's just an up day with two legs up and a two-legged correction in the middle. So that's how I saw it. Not a lot of trades again. A few green ones in there, but not a lot of maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it's hard to sit here all day and only find 5 trades. So just don't force trades. Remember to be patient. No trade is better than a losing trade. Don't force trades. Don't try to make something happen. Wait till you get that sure thing. And if you don't get one, just don't trade. And if you get bored sitting there and you can't help it, just call it a day. And like I said, no trade is better than a losing trade. So don't force trades. Be disciplined and wait on sure things. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.